Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to break down the NBA Draftkings and Fanduel slate for March 13th. We got going on. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your March 13th NBA Draftkings and Fanduel slate. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about Patreon if you want winning bets. If you want the mock drafts coming up, get locked in right now. We even have an NBA future. I'm going to be putting that up very, very soon. So get to that link down below. Before we go position by position, we're going to go into the injury report. We have a ton of guys that are out. So before I go into these names, please do not forget to log on to Twitter. Go to Roto World NBA. You got to get information on up-to-date ins and outs. You need to know who's in the starting lineups. That's how you capitalize on usage and upside for all these low-cost guys that are at value. So going over the guys that will be out. First, Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, John Morant, Jaden Ivey, Alex Burks, Marvin Bagley, Andrew Wiggins, Bojan Bogdanovic, Steven Adams, Ben Mathurin, TJ McConnell, and Colin Sexton. That's just to name a few, all right? So if you stay tuned, you'll be able to find out even more outs and finds values other than those guys that I just named off, all right? And comment down below if you have any other guys that are going to be out. You need to have a conversation down below, all right? Do not be shy. Starting off with the point guard position, we are going to go to Devin Booker. With no Kevin Durant, Devin Booker is now the leader of this team, all right? Yes, they have Chris Paul, but he is not the same Chris Paul as before. And now Devin Booker has to put the team on his back. As you can see, he's at a whole new salary at $10,100, all right? Was previously in 9K range, now at $10,100. Devin Booker's in a great matchup going up against the Golden State Warriors. In the past two previous matchups, he's scored over 50 fantasy points in those two games. And even better, Golden State Warriors struggle across the board against point guards, all right? The Golden State Warriors are 23rd in points allowed at 28.66, 24th in field goals made at 10.37, 26th in field goal percentage, allowing 45.7%, 25th in three-point percentage, allowing 37.7%, and 29th in assists, allowing 9.4 assists a game as well. So this is going to be a great spot for Devin Booker here. I expect him to have even a better game than what he did against Golden State Warriors in the two previous matchups, because he is clearly just the number one guy right now. And if we saw what Stephen Curry did in that previous game, this could be a big back and forth matchup. Hopefully goes into overtime. This is going to be a high scoring, very tightly contested game here between the Suns and the Golden State Warriors. Love Devin Booker at $10,100 in salary. The next point guard we're going to look at will be Trae Young. All right, Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks here. You can get him at a little bit cheaper price if you want to get away from Devin Booker. Trae Young is in a great spot here going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who struggle against point guards as well. Across the board, they're in that 25th to 30th range across the board. Trae Young obviously has been playing very well as of late, coming off a big game against the Boston Celtics where they lost, but yes, 60 fantasy points. He stepped up in that game. That's what they're going to have to face in the playoffs very soon. So it was good to see him show out, but it was a little bit too short, okay? In another game, previous game against Washington, he's averaged around 50 fantasy points. Struggled against Miami if we go back a little bit earlier in March, but that's because they are a very good, stout defensive team. Minnesota is not that one, all right? Now, let's go on to the shooting guards. For the shooting guard position, We're going to stay in that game between Minnesota and Atlanta. It's a very, very juicy matchup there with a lot of high scoring potential. We're looking at Anthony Edwards at $9,200 in salary here, going up against these Atlanta Hawks. His first matchup against this team. And the Hawks are struggling against opposing shooting guards. They're 30th in points, allowing 34 points per game. They're 30th in field goals made, allowing 12.07. They're 29th in field goal percentage, allowing 45.5. They're 30th in rebounds, allowing 9.82. They're 30th in assists, allowing 6.64. They're 30th in steals, allowing 2.79. And they're 30th in blocks, allowing 1.25. So across the board, we can see a scenario here where Anthony Edwards is filling up every single category on the stat sheet here. We're looking something similar to what he did against the Brooklyn Nets in that loss, where he had 32 points, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. That's what we're looking for at this high price here of $9,200. Technically, this is his cheapest price since late February. So this is a discounted Anthony Edwards that I would love to go towards in this game here. Going up against Atlanta in Atlanta, you know they're going to be bringing their A game. Love Anthony Edwards. The next guy we're going to look at the shooting guard position will be Tim Hardaway Jr. of the Dallas Mavericks here, going up against the Memphis Grizzlies. Without Luka Doncic, it's going to have to be some guys stepping up in the absence of him. So far, Kyrie Irving is currently questionable. He should be fine. We're going to wait on news on him. Other than that, we have to look towards Tim Hardaway, who came through in the previous matchup here a couple days ago against Memphis, scored 23 real points, 38 fantasy points in that game. It was him, and we'll talk about Jaden Hardy very soon in that util position. So Tim Hardaway at 6,400, definitely someone you can go towards. With no Luka, there's going to have to be a spread of usage other than Kyrie Irving in this offense. All right, so love Tim Hardaway at 6,400. Now let's go on to the small forwards. On to our small forward position, and this is the guy on the thumbnail, Jason Tatum for the Boston Celtics, going up against the Houston Rockets. If you watched my previous videos, you know I love to attack the Houston Rockets. It's a cash cow. If we look at the previous matchup that Tatum had against the Houston Rockets, he had 60 fantasy points, okay? 38 real points in that game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. Outstanding performance, and we're going to go back to that well, all right? Houston Rockets struggle across the board against opposing small forwards, all right? They're 29th in the league, allowing 25.71 points per game, 29th in the league in field goals made, allowing 9.30, 25th in the league in three-pointers made, allowing 3.05, 27th in the league at free throw attempts, allowing 5.15, 30th in the league in rebounds, allowing 10.30, and 26th in the league in assists, allowing 4.68. So Tatum should be going off yet again in this one. Another not career game, hopefully a career game, but definitely a season game to have yet again against this team in the Houston Rockets. Love him at his price at $10,900 in salary. If he's bringing us 60 plus, that is an absolute lock. And then the other small forward we're going to look at, we're going to go back to the well here in Dillon Brooks for the Memphis Grizzlies here. All right. In a previous video, I went with him and he had that 20 fantasy points. As you can see, let me go back to him right here. As you can see, Dillon Brooks had 20 fantasy points in that previous video right there, 20.8 against Dallas. That was a good matchup there. But the person that went off was the backup small forward, okay? It was Roddy. David Roddy here, their young rookie, went off and had 36 fantasy points in that game, all right? So we're going to stick to the well, go with Dillon Brooks here. Hopefully he can be the guy that goes off going up against this Dallas Mavericks team who struggle against opposing small forwards at his price, at a very nice price of $4,900 in salary. So love him there. Now let's move on to the power forwards. For the power forward position, we're going to have some more value here going on with that power forward position and even center. All right, so we're going to start off with the Indiana Pacers here. The key component is all these outs. No Halliburton, no Miles Turner. We got a Q tag on Buddy Hield. No Ben Mathurin, no TJ McConnell. They're really hurt down low with the bigs, okay? So the guy we're going to look towards will be Jalen Smith. He has a great history, high energy type of guy, can provide points and rebounds in bunches, okay? In the previous game against the Detroit Pistons, only 25 minutes. He even knocked down the three here. 20 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks. He's a very active body. They got him from the Phoenix Suns, and he's a very nice price here at $4,700. And this team here in the Detroit Pistons are struggling across the board against opposing power forwards. They're 27th in the league in points, allowing 21.76. They're 26th in the league in field goals made, allowing 8.23. And they're 26th in the league in field goal percentage, allowing 50.2. So this is a great spot here for Jalen Smith. He gets the usage bump here because of all the guys out for the Indiana Pacers as well. I expect a very high usage from Jalen Smith here going up against these Detroit Pistons as well, okay? Because if you look at the other side, they're missing a ton of guys as well. No Jaden Ivey, no Marvin Bagley, no Bogdanovich, no Isaiah Stewart, no Alec Burks, no Diallo. This should be a very good spot for the Indiana Pacers. Definitely want to look at that stack for the Monday slate, all right? If we're looking at another player for that power forward position, we're going to go to back to that Atlanta game and DeAndre Hunter at $4,800 in salary. I really want to get as much as I can in this game as well. Under $5,000 in salary. DeAndre Hunter has some upside here. He's usually pretty consistent staying in that 20 range, but he can pop off like he did against the Knicks. 34 fantasy points, 30 against Charlotte, 38 against San Antonio, 39 against Utah. He has a 51 in here, does he? No, 31 against Denver and 30 against the Knicks again. So he has some upside here that can go to that 30 range at a very cheap price here at $4,800. Take advantage of that for someone that's going to play a ton of minutes, all right? Each and every one of these games are well over 30 minutes in each, and he's going to get not get a ton of uses. He's more of a cleanup guy, and he can knock down that jumper and definitely knock down that three as well. So love DeAndre Hunter. Let's move on to the centers. At the center position, we are going to go with Rudy Gobert going up against the Atlanta Hawks here. Back at it again, yes. They struggle against point guards, and they struggle mightily against centers as well. So Rudy Gobert here against the Hawks. The Hawks are allowing 30th in points, allowing 20.46 points per game. 30th in field goals made, allowing 7.67 field goals a game. They're 29th in rebounds, allowing 12.57 rebounds a game. 29th in steals, allowing 1.25 steals a game. And 30th in blocks. That's the main part here for Rudy Gobert. They're allowing 2.30 blocks per game to that center position. This is a spot where he can clean up. He's coming off a very good game against the Brooklyn Nets here, where he had 26-13, almost 60 fantasy points in that game. I expect a repeat performance from him, at least well above 50. Love him at this value price of $7,900. If he's providing upwards of over 50 fantasy points, he should be priced around the $85,000 to $9,000 range. So Rudy Gobert is going to be a value that we're going to look towards at that center position. Another center who's going to be much cheaper here will be Isaiah Jackson, okay, for the Indiana Pacers. I'm telling you right now, they're missing Miles Turner here. So the starting center for this team will be Isaiah Jackson, okay? The tandem of Smith and Jackson are going to get the majority of minutes, and he came through against the Detroit Pistons here. 7-10 shooting, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, 2 steals. A very good performance from him at $3,000 in salary. They bumped his price up to $4,600. He's still someone that we can go towards. I expect him to get somewhere around 30 to 35 fantasy points at this price, and it's going to be a very good value here. Let's go over to FanDuel and find the value plays of the Monday slate. for the value plays. We are moving on to FanDuel, and I have some gems here. I know in a previous video, not a complaint, but just making sure that I really attack the value here on FanDuel at below $6,000 in salary. And we got a ton of guys for you. The first one we're going to talk about will be Terrence Ross, the new pretty much six-man for the Phoenix Suns here. He's coming in and knocking down threes at a very high clip. As we look at his game log, 24.7 against Sacramento, 35.4 against OKC. So he is being a real good bench player here, Terrence Ross, formerly of the Orlando Magic. This is a great acquisition for the Phoenix Suns. Love him at 4,500. With no KD, they're going to need some scoring punch off that bench. Devin Booker cannot do everything. He's going to be a guy that we're going to look towards at that price, all right? Next will be Andrew Nembhard here, formerly of the Gonzaga Bulldogs here. And this kid is coming in and stepping into a situation where he's going to have to be the point guard, all right? No Tyrese Halliburton, maybe no Buddy Hield, no Miles Turner. Andrew Nembhard is going to be the leader of this team right now. In a previous game against Detroit, 32 fantasy points. I expect him to get something similar around this range here at this price, and that's going to be something that's going to be very worth it. It's a team that struggles across the board. This is one of the bottom teams in the league here in the Detroit Pistons, and he did very well in that first matchup. There's going to be more people out in this game, so I expect him just to do just a tweak bit more here. And Andrew Nembhard at 4,900. Love his price there. That is another nice value. Jaden Hardy, with Kyrie Irving out and Luka Doncic out in that previous game, he stepped up and scored 22 real points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal for the Dallas Mavericks. Luka's going to be out again. I expect Hardy to get somewhere near that 30-minute range, even if Kyrie Irving is playing. So I like him at 4,500. He's more of a scorer, not much of a facilitator, so he's going to need to put up some points to bring back value. Okay, so like Jaden Hardy there. Grayson Allen is going to be our next play at the shooting guard, going up against the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings, as long as I've been alive, the Sacramento Kings have struggled against three-point shooters and shooting guards at that. And that's going to be the guy here in Grayson Allen. He's going to be the guy that's going to be in the corner at the top of the key, open with all the attention to Drew Holiday, to Giannis. Grayson's going to be the guy knocking down the wide-open jumper there. And he's done very well in the past 2 games. 20 fantasy points against the Warriors and 35 against the Brooklyn Nets. So I like Grayson Allen at this price at 5,100. And then last but not least, we have James Wiseman here, the center of the Detroit Pistons. He's the starting center now with Jalen Duren coming off the bench, and he's been very solid as of late, all right? We're talking about 38 fantasy points against Washington, 34 against Charlotte, 27.8 against Indiana Pacers, and we're going to have another rematch here for James Wiseman. I expect him to have another solid performance. Hopefully we can get a double-double here going up against the Pacers, who are missing a lot of bigs here. I love him at his price at 6,700. That's the one that you just have to spend up just a little bit more, but there is upside. So thank you guys for tuning in. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back with another video very soon, all right? Peace out.